You're watching KFES 12, celebrating 70 years of serving America's heartland. Your first alert station, KFES 12. Heartland News at 6 starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Devin Kidd. Well, it was a beautiful day across the entire Heartland. It was picture perfect for SEMO's homecoming game, or if you were just out picking up your last-minute pumpkins. Madeline Parker is standing by with a look at what's in store for the rest of the weekend with your first alert.
Well, Devin, take a look at these temperatures. It is gorgeous out for this evening. Looking at upper 50s over in Mount Vernon, in Harrisburg, and in Perryville. Still in those mid 60s across the rest of the region. And yesterday's cold front is really helping out with those fall-like temperatures. We are seeing a huge difference between today and yesterday. 11 degrees cooler over in Mount Vernon. 15 degrees cooler in Sikeston this evening than it was yesterday. 14 degrees cooler over in Poplar Bluff and in Union City. It was a little bit breezy out today, but we're starting to see those winds calming down a lot more as we head into your later evening hours. And we're going to be seeing much calmer conditions as we head into your overnight. Temperature-wise, don't get too used to these fall-like temperatures. We're going to be seeing things warm up as we head into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but things are looking a little bit cooler as we head into Halloween. But here's what you can expect for this evening. Lows by tomorrow morning, going to get into those low 40s, so getting a little bit chilly this evening in those mid-50s. I'll have a look at your full forecast coming up, and I'm tracking a chance for rain. Stay tuned.
Madeline, thank you. Today has been nothing short of a celebration in the streets of Cape Girardeau. Here's a look at the SEMO homecoming parade that took place on Broadway earlier this morning. And if you missed the game, SEMO taking home victory over Gardner-Webb 30-24. We're going to check back in later with Luke Randall, who just got back from Houck Field. New tonight, 2 underage teens arrested in Williamson County, Illinois after deputies discovered the vehicle that they were driving had previously been reported stolen from a home in Herrin. According to the Williamson County Sheriff's Office, deputies conducted a registration check on this black Kia Soul while patrolling north of Johnston City. They continued to follow the stolen vehicle on Illinois Route 37. Deputies then pulled the car over in West Frankfort. The 2 juveniles in the car were identified as a 14-year-old female and a 15-year-old male. They were taken into custody and transported to the Williamson County Sheriff's Office. Both juveniles were later released to their parents. In Carbondale, a road rage incident leads to shots being fired. According to Carbondale police, officers responded to the 300 block of East Grand Avenue for a report of a traffic crash and shots fired. The officers detained several people at the scene. During the investigation, officers located damage to one of the vehicles that was the result of gunfire, and a handgun was recovered. Officers learned that the event stemmed from a road rage incident that started on South Illinois Avenue. Officers arrested and charged 1 person with aggravated discharge of a firearm and unlawful use of a weapon. Everyone else was released without charges. It's the second to last weekend before Election Day, and today the presidential candidates are vying for votes in Michigan. It's a state which could hold the key to victory for either former President Trump or Vice President Harris. Christian Benavidez reports from Miami with the latest on the race for the White House.
Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris returned to Michigan to fight for the state's 15 pivotal electoral votes.
I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, we will end inflation. And you know what? It's we, not me. We will stop the invasion of criminals into our country, and I will bring back the American dream for your children and for yourself.
It is a people-powered campaign. We will win because we know what we stand for, so we know what to fight for.
In Kalamazoo Saturday, the Democratic presidential nominee is campaigning for the first time with former First Lady Michelle Obama.
In this amazing woman, our Vice President of the United States, the next President of the United States,
Harris and Trump are trying to woo Michigan's more than 8 million registered voters, including a large Arab American and Muslim population, keeping a close eye on Israel's war against Hamas. The former president was set to later appear in State College, Pennsylvania, as the candidates shuttle back and forth between battleground states. On Sunday, Trump returns to his hometown, New York, to hold a rally at Madison Square Garden. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
Pennsylvania has 19 electoral college votes that are also widely considered essential to reaching the 270 needed to win the White House. In 2020, both Pennsylvania and Michigan flipped to Joe Biden, helping him lead to victory over Donald Trump. Early voting in Missouri creating long lines at polling places across our region. There are multiple locations you can vote early, including your Board of Elections offices. This is the first presidential election with no excuse absentee voting in the Show Me State. However, many voters today told us the long lines and wait times aren't an issue.
It's a privilege and a right.
I got a right. I gotta stand up, fight for my right. So I got a right to vote.
And on the other side of the Show Me State, Senator Josh Hawley making stops in Kansas City. It's all part of his ongoing bus tour that began yesterday. This is the second consecutive day he's been campaigning in this Kansas City region. And Democratic nominee Lucas Kunce made several stops in the St. Louis area, visiting different pharmacies and hearing their concerns about staying in business. After several changes within the industry, it's made it harder for them to stay in business. Carolyn Hecker has the details.
Thousands of pills and a flow of prescriptions keep the pharmacists at Greater Health Pharmacy and Wellness busy. Nestled along the Del Mar Divide, the independent pharmacy is the only place to pick up medication within miles, but it's facing an uphill battle.
We should be able to sell medication at a rate where we can make some money.
Marcus Howard, founder of Greater Health, says that's not happening. PBMs, or pharmacy benefit managers, are a middleman of sorts. They negotiate medication prices with manufacturers and insurance companies. But the problem, Howard says, is PBM reimbursement rates for pharmacies leave him in the red.
And we have to be creative and innovative in a space where a community really needs us, because we can't afford to close. Like literally, we cannot afford to close. And so our team has to put their heads together and be creative.
Creativity, like free medication delivery, an attractive perk, and something he says 99% of his current customers use. On Friday, Democratic Senate candidate Lucas Kunce visited Greater Health Pharmacy, hearing Howard's concerns. Kunce says it starts with Congress fighting Big Pharma.
I've seen what they've done, and it's literally strip our communities for parts and basically convert our health into profits for their shareholders. And so we need members like me up in Congress. We need to go after PBMs. We need to enact laws. We need to break them up. We need to enforce our antitrust laws.
At Keller Apothecary and Pharmacy in South City, time has run out.
It is very frustrating, but yeah, we literally can't afford to stay in business.
After calling St. Louis home for more than 90 years, owner Paula Weaver says she'll close up shop next week.
Business as busy as we've ever been. We can't afford to stay in business any longer. The reimbursement rates from the PBMs is just bankrupting us, essentially.
Large chains aren't immune. The closure of several Walgreens stores across St. Louis largely the result of reimbursement rates, leaving places like Greater Health fighting to survive. Howard says it's personal to him to be here for the people in this underserved community, but he can't do it alone, and that's why he's hoping for big changes on the federal level.
Your first alert station, KFES 12. You're watching Heartland News at 6.
Another woman has come forward to share her encounter with a former Florissant police officer. She says she wants to protect her identity out of fear of retaliation. Melanie Johnson has the story.
Retaliation, is that going to happen now?
Only a phone call felt safe enough to protect this woman's identity.
I believe my constitutional rights were broken.
As she recounts a spring 2024 traffic stop with a Florissant police officer.
A few months later, the FBI show up at my door, pretty much telling me what happened.
She is one of multiple women coming forward against now ex-police officer Julian Alcala, who has been accused of pulling people over, requesting to see insurance via phone, taking the device, and then stealing their naked pictures.
There's a gross invasion on privacy.
I sat down with Beavis Schock, the attorney who made the name public in a federal civil rights lawsuit filed Tuesday against the city of Florissant and the cop he believes was a rookie within the department.
The gentleman is a person who is a recent graduate, a few months before this happened, a year before this happened for our client.
Schock represents a different victim in the 9-page court document that says during 2 traffic stops for a broken taillight, Julian Alcala, quote, used his phone to take pictures of photos she had of herself on her phone unclothed. He observed those photos himself and also distributed the photos to others.
There's other people that are involved in this. You know, he wasn't keeping these photos for himself. He was sending these pictures to his friends, his coworkers, from my understanding, from what I've been told by the FBI.
A claim this constitutional rights lawyer is looking into to see whether other Florissant officers were involved. In the meantime, 2 more victims have come to him asking for help.
Their decision to go forward is as much to stop it in other cases as anything.
So far, 3 attorneys have filed lawsuits against Alcala. The youngest victim being represented is a teenager. The federal lawsuit is set to go to court as early as 2026. Madeline?
Well, Devin, we are looking at a gorgeous evening tonight. Clear skies and temperatures in those upper 50s, but don't get too used to these cooler temperatures. We've got a warm-up heading our way. I'll have details in just a few minutes.
Madeline, thank you. Thousands of students in North Carolina have returned to school for the first time since Hurricane Helene tore through portions of the state about a month ago. Rob Marciano spoke with students, parents, and educators about the challenges they face to reclaim a sense of normalcy.
It's gonna be the best day.
In the hills of Watauga County, North Carolina, the ride to Valley Crucis Elementary is filled with excitement. Students here are finally back to school. It was a month ago that floodwaters from Hurricane Helene swept through western North Carolina, carving a path of destruction, filling Valley Crucis Elementary with 4 feet of muddy water and swamping the school buses parked outside. Now, classes are being held in an old conference center, a temporary space, about a mile from the damaged school. Leslie Alexander is the superintendent.
You know, getting kids back in the building is a first step to normalcy, but we have to realize that people have been through a lot.
When Helene hit, over 450 schools were impacted across 28 school districts. Schools in 5 of those districts remain closed. Some may not open until early November. Many students are still carrying a heavy mental load, the pain of losing a loved one or their home or both.
I want you to look to somebody near you.
Today, extra counselors are on hand, available for any students or staff who want to talk.
I started feeling anxiety from not seeing anyone, so it was really refreshing when I heard that this week we were going back to school.
12-year-old Georgia was with her parents James and Heather when their home began to flood, and parts of their community were washed away.
When the rain stopped and we went and walked around, she said, I'm not learning academically right now, but I'm learning a lot about survival.
You get emotional when you talk about lessons of survival. Why is that? The water may be gone, but the resilience remains. Rob Marciano, CBS News, Valley Crucis, North Carolina.
Got another day of gorgeous weather tomorrow in the upper 60s and a lot of sunshine, very calm conditions, but we're going to start to see that warm up coming back, looking at 79 degrees on Monday, getting into the low 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday. It's also going to be a bit windy on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. Now Wednesday going into Thursday, we're tracking some rain, potentially some thunderstorms on Wednesday evening, and I know that kind of puts a damper on some Halloween plans, but we'll be seeing some drier conditions as we head into Halloween evening.
Well, that's all the time that we have. Thanks for joining us this Saturday. We'll see you next on Heartland News at 9 on KFES2, the Heartland CW. Have a great evening.